What is up, everybody? Just setting up the camera here. I'm gonna make, well, first of all, what's up, everybody? In today's Hookah Talks, that's how I should have started this video off, but I'm gonna make a video on how to pretty much set your hookah up from start to finish. So just how to set your hookah up. This is gonna be universal for pretty much anybody that owns a hookah. If you have a Chinese made or a KM, a Caravan, whatever hookah you got. The fundamentals of putting a hookah putting a hookah together are very, very simple, very easy, and once you freaking do it once, twice, 3 times, you pretty much have it down for any hookah that you come across, even homemade hookahs that you guys will make possibly. First of all, we're going to get this charcoal going. Got some Guru coconut charcoal here. Really like this charcoal. Here's a little trick for you guys. If you get down to the second level, there are 2 levels to this, 1 bag up here and 1 bag down here. A good way to actually get that charcoal out when it's all flush is you just shake it up, and then the charcoal pieces become free. So we're going to put these on my electric stove top that I have right outside my door. But if you guys don't have access to a stove top or kind of like a gas burner, the best way to cook these, I would definitely say a propane or a MAP gas torch. I used a MAP gas torch on coals like this all the fucking time, but if you're going to use a torch, definitely do the coals after you're done setting your hookah up. But since I have an electric stove top, we're just gonna freaking put them on there, and throughout the entire video these will be cooking, and they should be done by the time we're done setting up the hookah. Just put them up right here. As you see, set that puppy on hot, and that's all she wrote. Alright. So we're just gonna, well, let me show you everything. So I got the base, the downstem, use my glass hookah, my frickin' hose, everything that you need. All the grommets, the HEBA filter, tongs, mouthpieces, and the whole 9 yards. So we're going to start by filling up the base with water. It's going to take a little bit better of a view so you guys can kind of see what's going on. So generally speaking, 1 inch of water above the bottom of the downstem, but since I am rocking my Spyro glass TNT model, I do about 1/2 inch of water above the bottom of the downstem. So the best way to kind of see where your downstem lies is to kind of put it on right next to your base and see exactly where it is on the bottom. And this way you can kind of see how much water you're going to need to fill up your base. Also, you can use the markings on your base as little guidelines for your water line, essentially. So you can see I'm going to fill up about right here at this point, right at the top of this little guy right here. So that's my water line. You guys could use pretty much any liquids that you want, tea, soda, milk, pineapple juice, orange juice, you name it. You could put ice in here, but I'm just going to go with standard water because it's simple and it gets the job done. But if you're looking for a little bit more flavor in your hookah session, then you can easily do any of that. So I'm going to fill this up with water. Alright, so I got my water, and the best way to kind of judge this is to actually get on the water's plane and look at the water, directly where the water will pretty much sit. And that's pretty much it. Why is my water so cloudy? It's because it's hot? Huh, that was weird. I just shook it up and it's clear. I think it was because this was still hot. I literally just washed my hookah and everything like that. So I do need to pour a little bit out. It's above this water line, but a lot of the time when I first got my hookah, I would look downward at the water line, and it does appear a lot higher than when looking at it straight on the same plane. So you want to look at it directly on the same plane as the water, but I need to pour a little bit out. And that's about right. Just eyeballing it, you know, super simple. Alright, so the next step is putting our downstem together. Super simple. Now I am using the Spyro Glass TNT model, which does come with a base grommet. And I find the easiest way to put this one on, at least, is to kind of get it wet and just slide it on, because this thing is a bitch to put on, I'm not gonna lie. You just slide it on like that, make sure it's all level. You know, for traditional hookahs, same method. For Chinese hookahs, some of them actually do screw on, and they have a kind of like a very flat O-ring, a silicone flat O-ring. But this is traditional, and I like to just spin my hookah on. First, we're going to put the HEPA filter on this as well. As you can see, super simple, still recording alright. And this does come with a grommet, but it's super hard to get onto your bottom of your downstem, so I just put it on like this. Alright, it's not going anywhere, it ain't falling, it's on there, straight for the most part. And we're just going to spin this in the hookah gently. The water helps push it down, that I find. Look at the bottom, see how submerged the bottom of your downstem is, to get a kind of a sense for how much there is, and that's about right. Do a little suck test. Sounds good, and as you see, this is a good seal. Alright, the base isn't falling out. This is able, you can hold this like a traditional hookah, you can move it around like a traditional hookah. Gonna need one of our full grommets, wipe this off because it is a little wet. Put it on the hookah. Get our tray. This is a homemade tray that I made for this hookah, because this hookah does not come with a glass tray, but that's fine, I just use a Chinese made one. And let's put together my hose. So some people have seen my glass, my custom glass, homemade glass hose. I use the D hose for the main part of the hose. Use some mouthpieces and some grommets. Get everything over here. Alright, so for the D hose, it doesn't really matter which side you put the hose port on, but I have one side is a little bit stretched because I put another hose port adapter on this side for my glass tip with a grommet. If anyone's seen that, put another. This is honestly a little bit bigger than a bowl grommet, but I got this with my green washable hose that did break. Same thing where I got this. This is a little bit wet too. Shit. Push this down as far as we can. And then we put our wand on, the glass little piece like this, just like so. A lot of grommets required for this hookah, even though it is a glass hookah. It's still traditional in the sense that you're using a base grommet. Boom. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces for a damn hose. Alright, and I like to put my grommets on. Some people like to put the grommets in the ports, but for the hose at least, I like to just put my grommets on the ports here, slide them down to the position they need to be, and then I'll stick it in the hookah. And we're just going to put this in the hose port, alright? It's not very important to see that, alright? Just snugly fit it in there, and that's just like this. Boom. Just put it in there. You know, just I like to spin and gently put it in there, and with a grommet on frosted glass, it fits very, very well. Alright. So I'm going to set this hookah aside now, because the next portion is the, what is it? The packing. We're going to pack this with some hookahfina. Do have my work clothes on, so it's all good. I did wash this about 5 minutes ago, so if the hookah did look a little bit condensated and still wet, that is the reason for it being that way. Glass hookahs are a pain to wash, and they condensate on the inside and can't really get the water out of the chambers of the glass hookah. But yeah, let me get a rag. Alright, my shirt just isn't doing it. Make sure, generally everything's dry for the most part when you're putting your hookah together, because water can fuck with the suction of the grommets. Especially your bowl grommet. If it's wet or if it's juicy from the tobacco and you go to put it on there, you can risk breaking your bowl just because you might put it on too much and it stops and you're forcing it down, and all that pressure just breaks out one of the sides of the bowl. So you don't want to do that. Also forgot to put the plug in the other port. Alright. That's good. And yeah, we're going to pack this with some hookahfina. Got our bowl. Got my little poker here. Got some Reynolds wrap. But what I like to do before I pack my bowl is I like to get my tongs and potentially flip these coals. You can see that for the most part these are 50 to 75% of the way done. You can see that most of them are lit, and I just like to spin them over. Put this guy on the outside, because the middle coal usually gets the hottest. Alright. And if it's like black on both sides, I just like to, there it is, you know. That's that. By the time we're done packing the bowl, those coals will be good, and we'll get to smoking. Alright. So, I am going to pack a funnel bowl. I'm going to do a light pack. You could do a tight pack, but honestly, I'm just going to smoke a little bit. That's fine. Got some hookahfina strawberry margarita. I like to stir up the tobacco before I actually place it in the bowl with my fingers, and it's good that way. You can't do this with a fork with funnels because, you know, there's no airways like a traditional large Egyptian clay bowl, but honestly, you could pack any bowl any way you want. It's pretty simple. Alright. Get this. And I get a pinch, and I like to place the shisha along the inside. And there will be spaces on the rim, on the inside, that are kind of open and you can see parts of the bowl. Well, you just want to put the tobacco in those areas. So I'll demonstrate by putting a little bit in here and showing you guys what I'm talking about. Alright, one sec. Let me just complete this side. So, as you can see, there's some space there at the top on the outside, right there. And what you want to do is just pack shisha in those areas, because we don't really want any hot spots within the bowl. It's going to dry that shisha out on the bottom, which is kind of what we want. We kind of want this stuff to bake, because it's kind of, you just want your shisha to bake. You don't really want to burn it. So if you get through your smoke session and you see that you still have actually some good shisha, but it's real dry. Like, there's no juice left on it. You did get a successful burn over. Alright, just because it's not completely black doesn't mean that, oh shit, I didn't smoke well, it didn't smoke well, blah blah blah. It means that you baked it, you know? Of course the top's going to be black because that's where the coals are, but once you get down to the lower levels, if it's still real juicy, then you just burned the top of the tobacco. You didn't really bake the whole bowl. Alright, now what I'm doing is I'm just patting this stuff down, alright? Just a light pack. Although when you pat it down, you're making it a tighter pack, but I'm not pushing a lot of force on there. I'm gonna put a little bit more tobacco in the areas that need it, that are kind of divoting down, because I want everything to be one plane, one level. Alright. I just like to spin the bowl and pack it down. Let me wipe my fingers off before I wash them. And I like to wipe the this little rim, because sometimes that gets a little dirty, gets a little shisha-y. Definitely have some type of rag or a sponge on hand to wipe up any excess juice that falls onto your table, because you don't want to be smoking anything like that. And this is what it looks like right now. Alright, this is pretty good. Alright, nothing too special about it. You can see that there's a little high areas on the rim. Those don't really matter too much. Try to take any shisha that's in the spire out. As you see, there's really nothing in there. I like to kind of pack it down around the spire, because I don't want any shisha flying in the spire when I'm taking a rip. You can see I'm just patting it down with one finger, getting all these high areas low. Patting around the spire. It's good. Alright. Again, I am wearing my work clothes, so don't worry. Like, holy crap, this guy is wiping shisha all over his pants and shit. Don't worry, I'm wearing my work clothes. Let me go wash my hands, we'll put the foil on, and it'll be the end of the tutorial. Washing my hands. Yeah. Wipe off your hands. Make sure that when you're handling shisha and your foil, you got dry hands. Alright? There's some shisha on here. Alright, now we're gonna put our tobacco away. And the reason why I smack it like this is because it gets a lot of the shisha off the sides of the bag. It just forces it down into the big pile. I just like to roll it. Make it very tight. Put it back in the container. Like to bend one side so it doesn't really unravel. Put the bent side in the container. And that's that. Hookahfina. Very good. Alright. We're going to get some Reynolds wrap here. Just the regular stuff. And always pull more than what your bowl is, so you kind of gauge it. I like to pull it. You can get a paper towel and make this very flat, but I honestly don't care. I'm going to do a double wrap, shiny side facing itself. And, oh shit, the surface was still wet. No worries. This is why you always wipe down your surface, because you don't want really wet foil. Let's use some of this rag to flatten this stuff down. As you see now, it's reasonably flat. And how I put my foil on is put it on like so. I use my palm and I just bend this side over, and I use my index to kind of bend these sides over, and I use my thumb over here to just hold this one side of the bowl, and I like to bend this whole side of the bowl over. And as you see, we are starting to make the formation of this side of the bowl. And what we're going to do next is we're going to cup around it with our other hand. Alright. So we're over here, forming the foil around, and I just like to scoot this entire hand downward. And I like to meet my middle and thumb like so. As you see, it is flat for the most part. We do have a little bit of kind of imperfection right here, but what we can do is we just want to wrap around the bowl, and I'm pulling. Alright, I'm just pulling it, and it's making it pretty flat for the most part. Alright, it's pretty flat. Then what you guys can do to get a nice foil seal, you know, just rub the lining of the bowl. And for the holes, honestly, it doesn't really matter. I'll just make it look pretty for you guys. I traditionally do this with every bowl now that I smoke, because I smoke my damn funnel so much. And this poker is pretty much the same size as like a thumbtack. But for a funnel bowl, I like to just poke holes where the funnel would go. You don't have to get too strategic with it, alright? It doesn't have to be completely perfect. And now, I generally just fill this entire area up, not the middle, this entire area up, with just holes. I'm going to do another layer that goes all the way down. So now I have this kind of like star pattern going on, and now just tiny holes. Smaller holes, let less ash in, doesn't really kill the flavor too much. But we're going to need a lot to get the airflow that we want. So very small holes. Alright. It may look like a lot, but these are very tiny holes, you guys. I'd say these are about the size of a toothpick, and these are the size of a thumbtack, all the small ones. And now we're just going to suck through, because I want to hear the how much air is actually being passed by this bowl. So if it sounds very, very condensed, then I'll put more holes, and if it sounds, for the most part, clear, then it's good. Sounds good to me. You don't need to blow into the bowl, you don't need to shake it up, alright? It's a funnel bowl, you don't want to disturb the placement of the shisha. We're going to put this on top of our hookah, alright? And what I like to do is I just get the bowl and spin it lightly downward from the top of the bowl, and that's it. Our coals should be done. We'll put it on the hookah. I'll take a couple rips for you guys, and that'll be it. And as you see, the coals are completely ashed over. Maybe a little bit too overdone. Alright, nothing crazy. Take one coal at a time. Place it on the bowl. Generally speaking, this is one of the best methods to cooking coals, is using an electric stovetop. Because by the time you're done setting up your hookah, it's done. But for the purposes of this video, I went super duper slow. So they cooked over a little bit longer, but once you actually get your hookah techniques down and everything like that, you can make a hookah in like 5 to 10 minutes without any effort. And we're going for a triangle pattern, like so. Where you see it's kind of smoking a little bit. But yeah, it's the hookah in its entirety. Let's move this hose over. put this hookah up. There it is. This is how to make your hookah, or a hookah, and take these same fundamentals and put it into your own hookah. So, obviously the first hit is going to be pretty damn small. So I'm just going to put my wind cover on here, get the hookah going reasonably, and end the video there. So let's just put this. I'm using a vortex pole as a iPod stand. It's a little too much angle. There we go, that's fine. But this is how you guys make your hookah from start to finish. Hopefully it was helpful for the most part. I think the water line, looking at it on its plane, is pretty helpful. But yeah, how to make a hookah. Just need to get the clouds going up there. Sorry, I keep getting water in my mouth because I just cleaned this damn thing, so there's still kind of water residue left in the hose and the wand, the mouthpieces, the whole hookah. But the clouds are starting to do a little bit better as I'm talking and hitting and talking and hitting. But you get the idea. You know, it's not going to just take off after 2 hits. Going to have to let the shisha warm up a bit, but I'm not going to keep you guys any longer. Hopefully you found this video helpful. Keep on smoking hookah. Have a wonderful day.